The last hilled sky was burning orange as Kailari held her daughter close, running through the broken forest. Trees were on fire. Smoke filled the air. Behind them, voices shouted in a cruel alien language. Arrows flew past like black birds. The war was not over, not for them. Ca. Single quotes LA, or I was not a soldier. She was a healer, a mother, a peaceful soul. Her skin was soft blue, her eyes silver like moonlight. Her daughter, Leary, was only 6. Too small to understand war. Too innocent to deserve this kind of fear. They had lived in a small village near the edge of the continent, but the raiders came without warning. They burned homes, captured children, and laughed while people screamed. Kalari had only one goal: now keep Leary safe, even if it cost her life. The path led them to a rocky hill, dry and sharp. It was the last hill before the wide valley. If they could reach the valley, maybe they could hide in the caves. Maybe Leary would live. "Mama, I'm tired," Leary whispered, her little legs shaking. Kailari knelt down and held her face. "Just a little more, my light. We must be brave." As she spoke, her sharp ears caught a sound. Not behind, ahead, a figure tall, dark, and standing at the top of the hill. It wasn't one of them. It wasn't a raider. It was a human. Humans were rare here. After the Great War, most of them left. They didn't trust aliens anymore. They didn't care about this planet. But this human stood there, holding something in his hands, a weapon, and he was looking right at Kailari and Leary. For a moment, Kailari didn't know what to do, friend or enemy. But there was no time. A whistling sound cut the air. Kailari's eyes went wide, and arrow. She turned and saw it flying toward Lir without thinking. She threw herself over her daughter. The arrow struck her back. Pain exploded through her body. Her knees hit the ground. She felt blood, warm and thick, running down her side. Lir, I screamed, "Mama." Kailari couldn't speak. She pulled Leary closer, shielding her with her arms. She looked up, her vision blurry, and saw the human running down the hill, fast, strong, full of purpose. He reached them just as another arrow flew. He lifted a metal shield, blocking the shot with a loud clang. Then he pulled out a strange weapon, not alien-made, human tech. He fired. The weapon barked fire and light. 2 of the raiders fell. He grabbed Kailari's shoulder. His voice was deep and firm. "Can you move?" She tried. Her body refused. She looked at him with fading strength. "My daughter, save her." He nodded. "I will." He picked up Leary, holding her carefully, like she was made of light. "Don't leave her," Kailari said, her voice weak. "I won't," the human said. More raiders were coming, fast. He looked around and pointed toward the trees. "There's a hidden path, old bunker. We'll be safe there." Kailari smiled, just a little. Then she closed her eyes. The human turned, holding Leary tight, and ran. Behind him. Arrows flew, but he didn't stop. Ahead of him, the forest grew darker, but he didn't fear it. Lir, I sobbed in his arms. She looked back once, at the hill where her mother lay. Then she buried her face in his chest. The human didn't speak, but his heart was heavy. He didn't know the alien mother's name. He didn't know her story. But she gave her life to protect a child, and he was not going to let that sacrifice be for nothing. They disappeared into the forest. As the fire grew brighter on the last hill, the man called Rook. Night grew colder as Rook moved through the broken forest, carrying the small alien girl in his arms. Her soft sobs had faded. Now, she just clung to him, silent, eyes wide with shock. Her name was Leary. He had heard it, once, spoken by her mother's trembling voice. Rook didn't speak much. He never did. But his mind was loud with questions. Why were raiders chasing a child? What made this little girl so important? And why? Why did that alien mother choose to die just to save her? He had seen it all. The way she threw herself in front of the arrow. No hesitation, no fear, only love. Rook had seen war. Long ago, he was a soldier of Earth, a Marine, a survivor of the last alien-human war. He had killed, lost friends, and buried trust in the ground like old weapons. After the war, he was assigned to this dead corner of the galaxy, just to watch and report. But he knew better. It was exile. Earth wanted to forget him, and he wanted to forget Earth. But now, something was different. This girl, this mother, they brought back something he thought he had buried forever. Purpose. The path twisted downward. Rook kicked open a rusted gate hidden by vines and moss. Behind it, a cave with a metal door stood silent like a forgotten tomb. "We're here," Rook whispered, mostly to himself. He scanned the trees once more before stepping in. Inside was dark, cold, but safe. An old human bunker, left behind after the war. He placed Leary on an old cot and searched for a medkit. "She needs warmth," he muttered, pulling out a thin thermal blanket. Leary's voice cracked softly. "Is Mama coming?" Rook stopped. For a second, he didn't know what to say. The truth was too heavy. A lie felt cruel. He sat beside her and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Your mother. She was brave. She wanted you to live. She gave everything for that." Leary didn't speak. Her silver eyes stared at the floor. Rook stood up and began scanning the bunker. His old training kicked in. Security systems were offline. Power low. Supplies barely enough for two. But one thing caught his eye. An old data crystal. Rook plugged it into a reader. The screen flickered, then lit up with the soft face of K.A. single quotes. "Lore." It was a message. "If you are seeing this, I am likely gone. My name is Kylari. I was part of the Watchers, a secret circle that believed in peace with humans. Long ago, we made mistakes, terrible ones, but some of us tried to change. My daughter Leary, she is the key. Her blood holds a bond between two species, a hope for something better. Protect her, please, and forgive us for what we did to you." Rook's jaw tightened. He looked at Leary again. "You're more than just a child," he whispered. "You're the reason this war might finally end." Outside, a sudden sound snapped him back, branches breaking. Rook grabbed his rifle and checked the bunker cams. Two figures moved through the trees. Not animals, not soldiers, not raiders. They were tracking. He shut down the lights inside, picked Leary up again. "We have to move." She held his neck tight. "I'm scared." "Me too," he said. "But we move anyway." Rook led her through a back tunnel, narrow and rocky. It connected to an old mining shaft. He knew these tunnels. Well, he'd mapped them during his first months here. As they walked, a thought echoed in his mind. Why would raiders want her so badly? He didn't need to wait long for an answer. They reached an abandoned outpost. Old computers, broken crates, and one working terminal. Rook hacked into local signals. A message was being sent. Encrypted, alien language. But Rook had cracked worse. He stared at the screen, his heart sinking. Bounty alert. High-value target. Alien child. Name Leary. Retrieve alive. Genetic asset. Full reward from Vexer. Vexer. The name hit him like a punch. Vexar wasn't just a raider. He was a bounty hunter. Cybernetic. Ruthless. Known for hunting children. Scientists. Diplomats. No one ever escaped him. Rook stood slowly, eyes locked on the screen. "This isn't random," he muttered. "They're not just hunting her. They want her for something bigger." He looked down at Leary, sleeping now on a blanket, her small body rising and falling with each breath. She didn't know, not yet, but soon. The galaxy would know her name, and if Rook failed, she wouldn't live long enough to learn it herself. Rook checked his weapon, reinforced his armor. His fingers paused over the distress beacon. He hadn't used it in years. No one answered calls from this place anymore. But he pressed the button. Red light blinked. Distress signal sent. From Agent Rook. Subject, child, in danger, possible peace asset. Immediate extraction requested. He knew no one might come, but he wasn't going to sit and wait. Not when death was marching closer every minute. Rook looked out into the night again, whispering to himself, "Come, Vexor. I'm not running, not this time." Blood Death's sky outside was dark, heavy with clouds, and the wind whispered through the broken trees like voices from the past. Inside the hidden outpost, Rook sat quietly beside a small fire, watching Leary sleep. Her breathing was soft, steady. Now, she had stopped crying, but Rook couldn't rest. His hands were tight on his old rifle. His mind was a storm. That name, Vexar. Rook, had heard it once, years ago, during the last days of the alien-human war. Vexor wasn't a normal bounty hunter. He was built for one reason: hunt and destroy peace. A half-machine assassin, created by the darkest minds of the alien factions. And he didn't stop until his target was either captured or buried. Rook looked at Leary again. She had no idea what was coming. He moved to a corner of the outpost and opened a dusty locker. Inside, wrapped in cloth, was his old armor. The black plates were scratched, dented, and burned, but still strong. He hadn't worn it since the final battle of the war, when he lost his entire squad to an ambush. Back then, he had sworn to leave all of it behind. But now, the war had returned, and this time, it came for a child. Rook geared up slowly, piece by piece. His old badge still shined faintly. Earth Marine Division Unit 7 Rook. He looked into the cracked mirror. His face was older now, harder, but something in his eyes had returned purpose. At sunrise, Leary woke up. Her hair was messy, and her eyes, still swollen from sleep. Rook knelt beside her and offered a small ration bar. Double quotes. "Eat. We move soon." "Where?" she asked, voice soft. "To safety." She looked at him, unsure. "Do you know my mama?" He paused, then nodded. "I met her. She saved your life. She was brave." Leary lowered her head. "She said humans were scary, but you're not scary." Rook stood. "A lot of humans are scary. Some aliens too, but some. We try to be better." She took the ration bar. "I think you're better." Her small voice made his chest tighten. "Listen," he said, kneeling to her level. "There's a bad person coming. His name is Vexor. He wants to take you. I won't let that happen, but I need you to be strong, like your mother." Leary nodded slowly. "Can I help?" Rook smiled. "Just a little. Yes. Stay quiet, stay close, and trust me." They moved through the tunnels again, deeper into the rock. Rook's plan was risky, but he had no choice. He couldn't outrun Vexor. He had to outsmart him. He set traps in the tunnels. Old military tech, lasers, mines, even signal jammers. He used everything he had learned in war because this time, he was fighting for someone innocent. Hours passed. Leary stayed quiet. She followed his steps, held his hand, and listened carefully. Then, a sound. A sharp beep. Rook checked his scanner. Movement. Something was coming. Fast. Rook grabbed Leary and ran back to the control room. On the screen, he saw him. Vexar, the hunter. His body was tall, armored in black metal. His face was half covered with a glowing mask, red eyes scanning everything. 2 sharp blades hung from his back. His voice came through the radio, a deep, mechanical growl. "Human, give me the child, and I'll make your death quick." Rook leaned into the mic. "Come, take her, you freak." Vexor laughed. "Brave words, but you've already lost. This child belongs to the Blood Code. She is the future of our kind." Rook's heart raced. Blood Code. Kylari's words echoed again. Her blood holds a bond between 2 species. He finally understood. Lir. I was born from 2 legacies: alien, peace, and hidden science. She wasn't just a daughter, she was a key. Her DNA held codes that could activate ancient systems, maybe even rebuild lost technology that could change the galaxy. And Vexor wanted to use her. Twister. Rook turned to her. No matter what happens, you don't run alone. Stay with me. Always. Leary nodded, scared but brave. The first trap exploded. Vexor's scream echoed through the tunnel. Rook grabbed his weapon and moved fast. The second trap went off. Flames filled the passage. Still, the hunter kept coming. Rook raised his rifle and fired. Bullets struck metal. Sparks flew. Vexor roared. They fought, fast and hard. Rook used every trick, every grenade, every old move. But Vexor was too strong, too fast. He grabbed Rook and threw him against the wall. Pain shot through Rook's chest. Leary screamed. Vexor reached for her. Rook forced himself up, blood in his mouth. Leave her, he shouted. Charging haze stabbed Vexor with a broken pipe. The hunter staggered. Rook grabbed Leary and pulled her into a hidden shaft. They slid down, landing in water. Behind them, the tunnel exploded. Rook coughed, holding Leary close. They were alive, for now, but this was just the beginning. He looked at her, eyes full of fire. I made a promise to your mother, he said. I won't let him win. The hunter air of steep beneath the surface, inside an old human evacuation shaft. Rook sat by the damp stone wall, blood dripping from his lip. His body ached. One rib felt cracked. His armor was broken in 2 places. But he was alive, and so was Lir. The little alien girl sat beside him, her arms wrapped around her knees. Water dripped from her hair, and her skin shivered in the cold. Yet, her eyes were not full of fear anymore. They were full of questions. Is he gone? Leary asked. Rook shook his head. No. Hunters like Vexor don't stop. Not until they get what they came for. Leary looked down. Why me? Rook looked at her carefully. You're special, Leary. Not because of what you look like. Not even because of your mother. You carry something inside you. Something important. Something they want to control. She frowned. Like a treasure. Rook gave a dry smile. More like a weapon. Or a key. Above them, the wind howled as a black shadow moved across the ash-covered land. Vexor had survived the explosions. His armor was scorched, his right eye flickering, but his systems rebooted with rage. His claws snapped open. He activated his drone silent, invisible, floating high above. The drone began scanning for heat signatures, biological traces, and it found something faint. Beneath the ground, Vexor smiled beneath his mask. You can run, human, he muttered, but you can't bury fate. Rook. And Leary moved again, deeper into the shaft. The old tunnels stretched for miles beneath the hills, once used by humans during war evacuations. Now, they were just forgotten bones of an old battle. Rook knew the layout. He had studied it years ago, when he first arrived. But something had changed. As they turned a corner, Rook's light flickered. Writing appeared on the wall. Strange letters, alien script but mixed with human code. Rook paused. He touched the wall. What is this? Leary stepped closer. Mama used to draw like this, in her notebooks. Rook scanned the writing. It was a message. Peace cannot survive unless it is protected by those who know pain. Beneath it was a symbol, 2 hands. One human, one alien, holding a glowing stone. Rook stared at it. This was a meeting place, for those who wanted peace. He remembered Kailari's hologram, the Watchers, she called them. This place wasn't just a tunnel. It was a base. Hidden secret. Rook tapped a panel nearby. Dust fell as old circuits hummed to life. A door slid open. Inside, dim lights, old data terminals, food storage, and weapons. We're not running anymore, Rook said. We're going to fight. For the next hours, Rook worked. He repaired his armor, sharpened his blades, uploaded data from the terminals, and he taught Lair how to stay low, how to hide, how to use a basic shield. She was fast, smart, not just a scared child anymore. Rook saw something in her, not just innocence, but strength, quiet, deep strength. And then, the alarms rang. The walls turned red. BXAR had found them. The door exploded. Open with fire. Rook pushed Leary behind a shield wall. Stay there, no matter what happens. Vexer stepped into the room. His voice was low, sharp, deadly. You fought well, human. But this ends now. Rook held his rifle steady. You don't want peace? You just want control. Vexer nodded. Peace is a lie. Only power keeps order. And that child's blood will bring power to the right hands, not yours. They charged. The room became a blur of metal and sparks. Rook fired round after round. Vexer blocked with his claws. Then he leaped, knocking Rook to the ground. Rook coughed blood. Pain screamed in his chest, but he didn't stop. He grabbed a plasma blade and slashed. VXAR stumbled back. Sparks flew. Rook rolled and activated a trap. A high-voltage pulse shocked the room. Vexer screamed. Circuits bursting. LIR. I watched. Frozen. Then something inside her clicked. She ran to the terminal. Her fingers moved across the keys. Her mother had taught her some codes, symbols, meanings. On the screen, a glowing orb appeared. Blood. Signature accepted. A new voice echoed from the walls. Project Unity unlocked. Panels opened. Lights rose. A pod in the corner came to life inside it. A glowing artifact. Not a weapon. A memory stone. A genetic archive. It held the truth of both species, their shared past, their lost peace, and the map to restart it. VAXAR saw it and screamed in fury. No. He lunged toward LIRI. Rook used the last of his strength. He tackled Vexer. Mid-air. They crashed into the wall. The ceiling cracked. Run. Rook shouted. LIR. I grabbed the artifact and ran toward the far door. The tunnel collapsed behind her. Rook and Vexer disappeared in the dust. LIR. I ran through the tunnel, tears in her eyes, holding the glowing artifact tight behind her. Silence. Was Rook alive? She didn't know, but she remembered his words. Stay strong, survive, carry hope. She kept running. The artifact pulsed softly in her hands, like a heartbeat. Leary's gift tunnel was long, dark, and cold. Leary ran with her heart pounding in her chest. Every step echoed behind her like a ghost chasing her. In her hands, she clutched the glowing artifact tightly. It was warm, alive, and pulsing, like a second heartbeat. She didn't know where Rook was. She didn't know if he was alive or buried under the falling stones with Vexer. But she knew she had to keep going. His voice stayed in her head. Survive. Carry hope. Hours passed. LIR. I found a narrow exit that led to an old mining cave. From there, she climbed a rocky slope and reached the surface. The land was quiet. No gunfire, no screams, only wind and smoke from far hills. Her legs were tired. Her body felt weak, but she didn't stop. She followed the artifact's glow. It seemed to guide her, turning brighter when she walked in the right direction, as if it wanted her to reach something, or someone, far away, deep in the mountains. A satellite picked up her signal. The artifact had activated an ancient human beacon, one that hadn't been touched since the last peace summit before the war tore everything apart. The signal reached a ship, a human recon cruiser, orbiting nearby. Inside, Commander Silva stared at the flashing screen. We've got something, said her technician. It's from Sector 11. Unknown code, but it's human. Silva frowned. There's no one stationed there anymore. No one we know of. Silva studied the signal again. Prepare a dropship, she said. I want eyes on the ground. Back. On the surface, Leary followed the glowing pulses until she reached a cliff beneath a tan, old human structure, half buried in the earth. Smooth walls, antennas, solar panels covered in dust. The artifact pulsed wildly in her hands now. She entered. The lights flickered on. Soft blue dot inside were rows of machines, chairs, data screens, and holographic figures frozen in time. It was a forgotten embassy, a place where humans and aliens once met to speak, not fight. She stepped to the center platform. The artifact floated up from her hands, spinning gently. Then a voice filled the room. Blood key recognized. "Welcome, Unity Carrier." A hologram appeared her mother's face. Not a message. This was her memory, recorded long ago. Kailari's voice spoke calmly. "If you are seeing this, my child, it means the Watchers have failed. It means peace has died. But you are still alive, and you carry inside you what they all feared, the truth. Our people and the humans are not meant to be enemies. We are made from the same sky. But power, pride, and pain have turned us into monsters. You are the bridge." Leary watched, tears sliding down her cheeks. "You carry both codes." Her mother's voice continued. "Your father was human. Your bloodline is rare. And inside, this artifact is the last archive of Unity knowledge, science, and voices from both sides. If it is used right, it can stop the next war before it starts." Then the hologram faded. Outside, engines roared. A dropship landed at the edge of the cliff. A squad of armored humans stepped out, weapons ready. "Hands up," barked the lead soldier. "Identify yourself." Leary stepped out slowly, holding the artifact. "My name is Leary," she said. "I'm here because my mother died to protect me, and a human saved me. His name was Rook." The soldiers lowered their guns slightly. Commander Silva stepped forward. "Did you say Rook?" Leary nodded. "He told me to survive. He told me to protect this." She showed them the artifact. It glowed brighter. Silva's eyes widened. "That's impossible. That's the Unity core." "We thought it was lost during the last attack," Leary whispered. "They tried to take me. Raiders. A hunter named Vexer." Silva tensed. "We've been tracking him. He works with the rogue warlords. If he wanted you, it means they want to start the war again," Leary said. Silva looked at her. This child, half alien, half human, stood calmly with history in her hands. On the ship, Leary was taken to the medical bay. Her wounds were treated. She was given food, warm clothes, and space to rest. But she didn't rest. She stood at the window, staring down at the broken planet. Rook was still out there. Or maybe he was gone, but she wasn't done. In the command room, Silva and her officers discussed what they'd found. The artifact has the genetic access code. If it's paired with the right human input, it could unlock every hidden file from the first peace treaty, one officer said. "So we bring this girl to Earth?" another asked. Silva shook her head. "No, we protect her here. She's the target now. And if the raiders know she's alive, they'll come again. Then we need to strike first." Silva agreed. "But we also need one more thing." "What?" "Rook. If he's still alive, he's the only one who can finish this." That night, Leary sat alone in her room. She held the artifact close, whispering to it, "Mama, I miss you. I don't know if I'm strong enough." The artifact pulsed softly, almost like a response. "But I'll try," she said. "Because I'm not just one thing. I'm both. And maybe that means I can change everything." The camera pulled away, showing the vast black sky beyond the ship. The war wasn't over. But for the first time in years, hope had a name. Her name was Leary. When Earth answered, stars outside the ship were quiet, but the silence wouldn't last. Commander Silva stood on the bridge, arms crossed, watching as streams of encrypted messages flew across the large holoscreen. Orders were being sent. Troops were being moved. Hidden satellites activated after years of sleep. Earth had heard the call. They were coming, but the question still burned inside her. Was it too late? In the medical bay, Leary sat on the edge of her bed, wrapped in a soft blanket. Her silver eyes stared down at the Unity artifact, still glowing in her hands. Every time she touched it, she felt something: memories, voices, moments not her own. Her mother's childhood, her father's smile, the first meeting between alien elders and human officers. Peace was possible once, but something dark always destroyed it. And now, that darkness was coming again, far below, deep in the collapsed tunnels. Broken rocks shifted. A hand pushed through the rubble. Bloodied, bruised, and gasping for breath, Rook pulled himself out of the ruins. His vision blurred. His leg was cut. His arm burned. But he was alive. He didn't know how long he had been buried. Minutes. Hours. But he remembered what mattered. Rook stood slowly, every bone in his body aching. He looked at the spot where Vexor had vanished into the falling rocks. No sign of him. No body. That meant one thing: the hunter was still alive. Rook grabbed a metal rod and limped toward the old tunnel exit. He had to reach the surface. He had to find her. He had made a promise, and Rook never broke promises. Vexar, meanwhile, wasn't dead either. His systems had taken heavy damage. One arm was gone. His mask was cracked. Wires hung from his shoulder like broken veins. But he had crawled out through a secondary shaft, and now, in the dark of the wastelands, he rebuilt himself, piece by piece. Rage fueled him. Hatred gave him power. His scanners picked up the girl's signal, now aboard a human recon ship orbiting the planet. He grinned beneath the broken helmet. "You cannot escape what you are, child," he whispered, "and you belong to me." On the ship, Leary walked into the command room. "I want to help," she said. Commander Silva looked at her. "You already have, Leary. You've done more than most soldiers ever will. But the war isn't over," Leary said, "and I can feel something. Vexor isn't dead." Silva nodded slowly. "We believe that too. That's why reinforcements are coming from Earth. Fleets, carriers, full protection." Leary frowned. "What about Rook?" Silva's face changed. "We're still searching. The tunnels were deep, dangerous. He's alive," Leary said firmly. "I know it." Hours later, a message came in. Weak, distorted but human. It was Rook. "This is Rook. I'm alive. Injured, near outpost, Charlie 9. Tell the girl I kept my word." The signal cut out. Silva's eyes lit up. "Launch a retrieval craft now." Leary's heart jumped. She pressed her hand against the window. He's alive. Down on the surface, Rook fought to stay awake. His wounds slowed him, but his mind stayed sharp. He reached the edge of the old outpost when something moved in the shadows. A low growl. He turned fast, ready to fight, but it was a scout drone, human-built. It flashed green. Rook dropped to his knees, relief flooding his tired body. The drone's voice spoke. "Agent Rook, hold position. Rescue incoming." He smiled faintly, then passed out. An hour later, Leary stood at the docking bay as the rescue ship landed. The doors opened with a hiss. 2 medics stepped out, helping a limping Rook. His face was bruised, his armor scorched. But when he saw Leary, he smiled. "You made it," he said. Lir. I ran forward and hugged him tight. "You kept your promise." Rook nodded. "Always." The next day, a full meeting was held aboard the ship. Generals from Earth joined by transmission. Alien watchers who had survived the purges also appeared. In the center stood Leary and the artifact. A debate began. Some wanted to use the artifact as a weapon. Some wanted to hide it again. Others feared it. Rook stepped forward. "This child has more courage than most of you. She's the reason we're standing here. And if we let fear guide us again, we'll fall back into war." Leary raised the artifact. It glowed brighter than ever before. A hologram filled the room, images of human and alien history. Battles, peace talks, broken promises, and one path forward. Silence followed. Then Commander Silva spoke. We have a chance, a real one, but we must stand together. But at that moment, deep in space, something moved. A warship, not human, not alien, but Vexor's. It cloaked itself and began closing in on the recon ship inside. Vexor sat on a throne of wires and steel, his body repaired, his eyes burning red. "Let the games begin," he whispered. On board the artifact began to flicker. Rook noticed something's wrong. Alarms rang. Unidentified ship approaching. Its cloak getting closer. Leary looked at Rook. "He's coming." Rook grabbed his weapon. "Then we finish this. Once and for all." The arrow and the Promiseth sirens screamed. The recon ship shook as lights turned red and emergency shields activated. Deep in space, something massive and deadly was approaching. Unseen, but felt, Rook stood on the main deck beside Commander Silva, watching the holographic radar. Leary stood just behind them, clutching the glowing artifact close to her chest. "We have to act now," Silva said. "This ship isn't made for full combat. If Vexor hits us first," Rook cut her off. "Then we make sure he doesn't." The artifact pulsed faster in Leary's hands, almost warning them. Rook turned to her. "He's coming for you. He'll try to get inside your head. He'll twist your fear." Leary nodded, brave but shaking. "I'm not afraid of him anymore." "Good," Rook said, "because we're not running." In the void of space, Vexor ship dropped its cloak, a terrifying monster of metal and dark tech. Its surface bristled with jagged turrets and engines glowing sick green. Its AI systems were built for only one purpose: hunt and erase. Inside the bridge, Vexor sat silent. One arm was now fully robotic, his mask repaired, his heart replaced by a pulsing power core, fueled by stolen alien energy. His voice echoed through space. "Send the child, or burn." On board the recon ship, the message played on every speaker. Every soldier paused. Rook looked at Silva. "We can't give him what he wants." Silva nodded. "No, but we can give him a fight." Minutes later, the recon ship launched 3 decoy pods. Vexor's ship responded fast, firing plasma beams that lit the stars like firestorms. The pods exploded empty. Then, from the lower docking bay, a fast shuttle launched. Rook piloted it himself. Inside with him was Leary, the artifact sealed in a secure container. "You okay?" he asked, eyes on the stars ahead. She nodded. "If we destroy the artifact, would the war end?" Rook shook his head. "No. If we destroy it, the truth dies, and truth is the only thing that can stop war." She looked out the window. "Then let's bring truth to him." The shuttle approached Vexor's ship under cover of its blind. Spot. Rook activated stealth mode. They docked quietly onto the warship's maintenance hatch. Inside, it was dark, humming, alive like a beast, breathing in its sleep. Rook and Leary moved slowly through the corridors. Rook's weapon ready. Leary's hands gripped the case tighter than ever. They reached the core chamber where Vexor waited. He stood in the middle of the room, arms behind his back, like a king. His voice was calm. "You never give up, human. You never learn." Rook raised his rifle. "I learn faster than you bleed." Vexor laughed. "You brought her right to me. How kind." Leary stepped forward. "I'm not here to surrender. I'm here to end this." Vexor tilted his head. "You think you're important, girl? Just because you were born of both sides. Peace is a myth. People want power." Rook moved between them. "No. You want power, and that's why you'll fall." Vexor's eyes glowed red. "Then fall with me." He charged. The chamber exploded into battle. Rook fought hard, fast. Every move was desperate. Every strike filled with pain and memory. He dodged blades, fired bursts, kicked and rolled and blocked. But Vexor was faster, stronger, wired for war. Rook was thrown against a wall. His gun skidded across the floor. VXAR marched toward Leary. "Give it to me," he growled. Leary backed away, heart racing. Then she opened the case. The artifact rose into the air, glowing blinding gold. Vexor screamed and covered his eyes. The hologram of Kailari appeared again, brighter and clearer than ever. "You, who hunt the child," her voice said, "you fear what she is because you fear the world she might create." Then the artifact pulsed once hard, and in that moment, the chamber filled with thousands of voices, human, alien, from peace talks, from ancient memories, from scientists, teachers, children, elders. The artifact played the past and the dream of a future where peace was possible. Vxar howled, "Lies. Weak dreams." He lunged at Liri, but Rook, bruised and bloody, leaped between them. Grabbing Vexor's weapon arm, he looked into his enemy's eyes. "This is for every innocent you killed." He pressed a grenade to Vexor's core. "And for every promise I made." He pushed him back, just as the grenade exploded. A roar of fire and metal filled the chamber. Hours later, on the recon ship, the artifact had been recovered, and so had Lyri, but Rook's body was never found. Silva stood with her soldiers, watching. "Lyri, activate the artifact one last time." This time, it opened a map, a star chart showing hidden places, safe havens, peace vaults, and old meeting grounds lost to war. It was the first step toward something new many years later. On the first day of the new alliance between humans and aliens, a statue stood in the center of the grand hall. It was a tall human soldier, one knee on the ground, offering a hand to a small alien child at the base. The words, "She took the arrow to protect her child. He kept a promise to protect her future." And beneath that, peace was never easy, but someone had to fight for it. Lyri stood silently beside the statue, older now, strong, hopeful, and the last to leave.